Hey everyone, it's that time of year. We're one of the first vehicles and we have to do some inspections. This big bump I'm currently driving through is a culvert that got lifted out by a frost heave, sunk back into the hole with the soil eroded, leaving that bump. The grader will fix that pretty easily. Now the road here is very slippery. Mud can be very slippery. A couple other vehicles have been down here, but this time of year, the log trucks are not coming down here. The roads are too soft. I'm in four-wheel drive, and I can feel myself bogging down. Not in good shape. And looking at the tire marks, it looks like a single person came out here and came back. I see two sets of tracks that are probably the same vehicle. This is not a dead end. There's a couple routes out. Whether they're passable or not, I don't know yet. This road has a couple of ways out of here, including a way that was blocked off for a couple of years, and they finally replaced the bridge. You see some frost heaves right here. There's still patchy snow. And this is the kind of year, this is the time of year you gotta watch out, because the road could appear to be in good shape, but there could be mud right below the dry surface. This is actually the worst year I've ever experienced as far as there's absolutely no blockages or anything. And that's for two reasons. On these same exact roads, we did a lot of preventative maintenance, but we also, this spring is the least aggressive as far as flooding. Last year, a lot of rivers in the spring hit major flood stage multiple times. This year, we had around my area 3 feet. This area had about almost 5 feet of snowpack on the ground at once, but it melted slowly. It wasn't abrupt. There was no rain involved at the same time. Everything gradually melted. There was no floods. Last year, many of these dirt roads we were traveling, we'd drive down them. There was a dead end because the road was just gone. A bridge was either gone or a culvert pipe was gone. You couldn't go down there. So we'd find a detour. It was like a maze out here basically for the first couple months of last spring, because it was a maze. You could not find your way through these places easily at all. They were so damaged. Last spring I got the vehicle stuck probably 24 times. More than a dozen of those times were in the same day. I just kept getting stuck repeatedly on the same road, and a few other times around. And it's snowing right now, as you can see. We're about to enter the second week of April. I believe today is the 6th of the month. So it's snowing a little bit. We're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches of snow tonight. That's not a severe issue. The bigger issue is what we're driving over now. There's some patchy spots of ice. We just want to try not to get stuck. And this road is slowly gaining elevation, so these issues could get a little worse. And we're about to go over a bridge. This time of year, the roads haven't been inspected yet, so you gotta be very careful on these bridges. I'm gonna do a quick brake check. Okay, there's nothing to worry about. I didn't slide on that at all. But this is a bridge with no railings, so you gotta be careful going over these, especially the larger ones. If you see the bridge deck crooked, sometimes we have to get out and inspect this time of year because these bridges don't have foundations. And that doesn't seem to matter. It's actually pretty rare when I find one washed out. But you do find them crooked every now and then if some of the concrete blocks they're up on get washed out. And I do believe this road's gonna slowly get better if we can make it to the 7-mile mark, because that's when it begins going downhill on the sunnier side of the terrain. This area is more shaded because this is like the back side of the hill facing north. What I'm driving on now, I'm just going really slow. It seems to be solid. The snow doesn't seem to be very icy. I feel like I'm breaking down to the road. It's more of a slush because it's been a little bit warm. Temperatures right now are exactly 36 degrees or 2 degrees Celsius. Not that bad. We still have a lot of cold weather in the forecast, including a couple of days now that don't even hit freezing. We're getting to that part of the year. These days are harder to come by, but you can get snow up here through the month of May and even the beginning of June, because we're very, very high up right now in the state. This area's growing season doesn't start until June 15th. And right now, this is a part of the road I gotta be cautious right here. I really, really do not want to get stuck. I see tracks, but it looks like whoever was driving back there did not go to this extent. They already turned around. I do see older tracks, though, that were maybe from a couple weeks back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm sinking a bit in the parts of the road that are not snow covered. I can feel it. A little bit of tugs from one side because I'm sinking a little bit. You notice that there's tire marks again, but they weren't going through the snow. They're a little bit old. Maybe a week ago we had a bit of thawing. So we definitely need four-wheel drive, but every now and then I feel like all-wheel drive would be a bit better, because when you have an all-wheel drive vehicle, the computer can compensate for slippage on the left but no slippage on the right, stuff like that. It can put more power to certain wheels when four-wheel drive is pretty much even, especially when your differentials are locked. My differentials are not locked right now. Okay. We did get further along. No, we didn't. We came down this road a couple months ago, and right now we're driving over a culvert pipe that is all messed up. It got hit by the grader, and it also got damaged by frost heaving. They should replace that one at some point. Okay, so this is an intersection where, yeah, we're going to leave a different way we came in to cover more ground. So a couple months ago, I drove up here. It was passable enough, and I turned around because it started getting difficult. Like, there's actually a very dangerous hill coming up, and I think in just a minute or so, and I gotta make sure I don't slide on it. Go slow right here. The snow-covered parts of the road actually seem to be better, but we are in the type of terrain the conditions can change around every corner. I'm actually surprised to see so much snow here. Usually the pine trees blocking the sun is what causes this. Do a quick brake check. Okay, we slid a little bit. And this is the beginning of the dangerous hill that has a hairpin turn at the bottom. Oh, but thankfully the ice is about to end. Nice. Alright, it's feeling solid. That set of tire tracks is still going down here, but that doesn't mean anything. Sometimes if you have fresh tire tracks, it'll give you a little more confidence because you can see how much somebody sunk. But because these tire tracks are at least a week old, notice how the snow didn't have mud on it back there. Conditions could have changed in the past week. Alright, yeah, this isn't a big deal at all. This is a scary part of the road in the winter because it's a hairpin turn, especially if you have a log truck coming around here. Not a big deal. They actually look like they did some trimming that I didn't notice a couple months ago. Now here we gotta be careful. Yeah, I'm slipping a little bit, but nothing too serious. Nice. There's a road up here that I used to go camping on all the time. Well, not exactly camping, but sleeping overnight. I had like my perfect little spot up here. Oh, plastic culvert destroyed by the grader, but it's not collapsed. I had a perfect spot up here for camping when I was driving my older car. And the older car used to struggle to get in there because the road was so narrow. I'd scrape against the paint and stuff. Didn't really care because it was a higher mileage car, and I don't intend on selling it. I'm just gonna drive it until it breaks down. But this car is a bit wider and taller, so I'm not gonna try going down there right now. That was years ago, so it's overgrown to the point I wouldn't bring anything down there except maybe an ATV. But it was a beautiful spot. It was a very tight road that many people wouldn't want to drive down. And the end of it opened up really nice and big with a nice pond. That was a nice place. But that's the road where I made it out to in the fall. No, 2 months ago and turned around. I haven't actually driven down it in years. But we have a couple checks up here I want to do, and based on road conditions so far, I think we'll make it around the entire... There's a loop here that goes about 15 miles or so. I think we'll make it. Road conditions are pretty good. Culvert. I guess it's nice to have another taste of winter before summer comes along. Oop, this culvert is very, very sunken. Look at that. But we're basically looking out for hazards or areas of erosion, tire poppers, metal pipes that have been damaged, and we'll mark them. These bumps here, depending where I am, I might mark them, but this road I'm not going to because it's in pretty bad shape, and everyone should be aware of certain hazards like this by the time they get to this point of the road. And this is never really a fast road. Even in the summertime, this road right here has a maximum speed limit of 35 miles an hour, or about 55 kilometers an hour. Not very fast of a road. Ooh, we're sinking here. We're sinking a bit, and it's getting a little more snowy. Maybe not. Maybe we won't get around this one, but I gotta be very careful not to get stuck or slide into a ditch. I do see another tire mark. Somebody else has been out here. If the snowpack for any reason gets beyond like 6 inches, I'm gonna turn around because I don't want to get stuck bottoming out, especially facing in the wrong direction of getting out. Okay, we got another bald spot, but the road looks very snow covered up here. Brake check. Not the worst. Got going again, okay. Looking in my mirror, we didn't sink at all during the brake check. Somebody's cut a slot right here in this fallen tree. I'd rather run this piece over than hit the other side. Alright. And another reason the snow is kind of packed here, this is a snowmobile trail in the winter, and wow, since the beginning of this video, we actually have some snowpack in the woods now too. And we're driving over a little stream here. Here's a culvert. No backups. Oh good, we're opening back up, no more snow. See, around every corner is different. I thought this season was going to be absolutely terrible mud season, but it's really not that bad this year. Everything melted in a good way. Mud season's created by the ground being frozen deep under, and you have the snow melting, rain, trapping it on top from sinking into the ground. Okay, this is where we turned around a couple months ago. I made a vlog of that in the middle of the night. It's 5 o'clock right now. I'll probably stop and sleep in a couple hours. I'm getting a bit tired. So this is the road that I used to go sleeping down. It actually looks like somebody trimmed it. We can try it, I guess. I'm not worried about the small branches dragging against me. I think somebody trimmed it. It seems like it's in better shape than it once was. And this time of year, I don't think we're gonna find someone down here. Because the logging company doesn't care if people come out here with campers and set up camp for a bit. I think they have a rule of 14 days is your maximum you're allowed to be out here. Is the road blocked or is that off to the side? I can't tell. So all this area here is, they don't care if you go camping and stuff. Yeah, it's blocked off. And honestly, unless somebody loves this spot, this is going to stay blocked off indefinitely. I don't know if somebody's going to open this up. Maybe. I think there might be a good chance of somebody eventually opening this up, but yeah, I was saying, in the state of Maine, you're allowed to go in basically any woods, because the way the trespassing law works is if it's not posted, you're allowed to go on to other people's property. That's the way it is. If you are a landowner, you have to post it in Maine. It's not like some states. I'm gonna have to back all the way out of this, I think, because there is nowhere good to turn around. But I've done this enough times that I'm pretty good at backing up. Let's see if I can back out of this without having to go forward again. We will see. We didn't go through anything that bad. Oh, I hit that a little harder than I wanted to. Oh man, that's a big one. Ooh, that was almost enough to fold my mirror in. But it was nothing too big. I bought this truck for work. I try not to get scratches, but it's gonna happen. Alright, the road's widening so I can go a bit faster now. I'm not even hitting the gas. Idle is bringing me through all this. And we're going downhill. Alright, we're back out to the road. Slow, slow, slow. It's wet right here. Okay, we're back out, and the culvert pipe here is having some problems. Can you see the erosion to the left hand of the screen? I don't think it was going over the top, but there's something going on here. Be cautious when you drive over things like that. Okay, I see the road coming up. It's snow covered again on a hill coming up. I see it slightly through the woods. And now this is a ton of frost heaves. Right here has water that goes across, not because of a clogged pipe, but the drainage ditch is overfilled. It's got to be excavated a little bit. And this is a full-time permanent road. They like to log in a checker pattern. A little here, a little there. Wait a few years, a little more. Yep, here's the icy hill I was seeing. So, there's a road I absolutely love to the left. I don't think I want to take it. A couple of reasons. That goes through a bunch of winding areas with dark tree cover. It's going to be bad. Also, there's a flooded part of the road that I really wanted to get to. Ooh, we're sliding, we're sliding. Try to keep centered here. At least we're going uphill, so if I do get stuck, I'll be able to back up a bit. But we're getting decent traction. Decent. Oh no. There's no more road showing. We're not sinking much. Do a quick brake check. Alright, that's not bad at all. So yeah, the other road has a flooded section, and it's definitely frozen over. So I don't want to drive through there, because if I break through the ice, it's possibly thick enough that it could damage something, the undercarriage, or get stuck. So I'm not going to attempt that right now. But it's a spot I actually really wanted to go camping, because it's secluded. There's a massive beaver lodge. I was thinking setting up a tent on the ice right next to the beavers. Eventually I'll want to make that a reality. I just don't know a good spot to do it yet. It can't happen this year. The ice is no longer safe, in my opinion, because we've had some warmer weather. I see a bunch of moose tracks. That's what you're seeing in the road right there. It's not humans. Okay, it looks like the road's getting bald again. There's a thin layer of snow that just fell on it. Good sign. Am I seeing... Okay, you see that there's a couple spots where the coating of snow is not sticking. That's active groundwater, making these areas a little warmer. Or maybe it's just the sun getting filtered through the trees. I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, see the snow's falling here, but it's not falling in the open area. It's slightly warmer from the sun, but back there it was visually wet. There was groundwater helping melt that. Like in my yard, there's a couple spots. People think my septic tank is under part of it, melting it. But in reality, it's a giant rock below the surface that retains heat well into the winter, because I think it's touching the water table and that heat is just getting transferred up through it. Stuff like that. We are on mile 5. Mile 7 is as far as we can go. Actually, it might be 6.5. There's a turn off. This road ends and it forces us to turn. Right here, I gotta do a brake check. All right, not bad. I'm just making sure that I can get back up this hill if we are forced back. Ooh, ooh, slow, slow, slow. It's trying to pull me a little bit. But I see promise in the road ahead. And there are a couple of seasonal houses down here, so whoever's tracks this is, it's either someone exploring or maybe someone who owns a house down here. There's a lot of seasonal houses out here. Not many people really live here. I just saw a bunch of moose poop on the road. It's not exactly red moose poop season yet, but it's coming. So they have moose poop at a certain part of the year, in like May, I believe it is, when the buds start getting big on the maple trees. They love eating that, and it makes it look like piles of cherries in the road. I'm not joking, it's actually very bright in color. The moose's body doesn't filter that pigment. There's a culvert pipe, all clear. Now we're about to make a turn down a very problematic road before we continue. So straight is a dead end, but actually the dominant part of the road takes us around the loop. This right here, this road actually had a very funny name. That's why the street sign keeps getting stolen. It's named after a very common name. So people steal it to hang in their house, or just kids, whatever. They replace it every couple years, but it's usually gone by the end of the summer. Here's a culvert with some swamp. I think we'll have clearance all the way down here. They haven't used this road since last winter. This is now abandoned. This is not a main artery. I don't see any reason why this road's gonna get bad for us. But I only need to go another 5 minutes. I just want to do a check on something. This is a snow drift right here. Not very bad though. Here's a sunken culvert. It's plastic and the sinkage is going down below the pipe, so that means it's definitely collapsed. Boom, boom. That's a bad one. Keep it slow. Right to my left, there's a gigantic beaver pond that's empty. They had a catastrophic failure over the winter because there's no reason that dam should have been taken down, and there's no way that they got excavators in there. They could have relocated them and the beavers were unable to do preventative maintenance. That's possible too. Maybe you'll recognize this location. We have unclogged many times. This is always flooded by beavers clogging the pipe. And it's always a satisfying unclogging. Maybe a new family of beavers will move back. I think they got relocated because they actually lived further up in a massive pond, which I just drove by and it's empty. That's sad. Here's a gravel pit. Here's the other end of that road where I said I don't think I can go down because it's flooded, but if the weather was good, we would 100% be able to. See right here? We'll explore a little bit further down this other road though. Because it seems to be in pretty good shape. Temperature dropped to 34 degrees now, 1 degree Celsius. We're gaining a little elevation. And I want to make sure we are out of here. We need to get out of these roads probably by, I'd say, 8 o'clock or something. Because those areas you saw me driving through that are snowy could become slick as the temperatures plunge overnight. Now this section of road's actually good. I can pick up a little bit of speed. You see how high elevated it is from the drainage ditches? I don't think we're gonna find surprise quicksand, which is basically what I've got stuck in a couple of times. This road is very well engineered. Wow, look at all the pine trees. Those are red pine. They grow very slow, but they have a higher quality product than typical white pine that you find in a lumber yard. I'm not familiar with their grow rate. I'm not sure when they cut those down. How many years it's got to wait. Yeah, this road's in good shape because look how wide the shoulders are. A lot of sun gets in here. Oh, it's not even the camera making that clicking sound. It's the dashboard. It's creaking a little bit. It's a little bit of both. Slow it down. It's getting a little slick right here. And I haven't used this road in a while. See this culvert pipe? I actually, yep, I see a little piece of my ribbon. It's just super faded. I marked that one years ago. They're not gonna fix it because they don't use this part. This road here, I don't think is scheduled to be logged again for another decade. See how the trees are fairly short. In a couple of minutes, I'm gonna show you what this road's primary use used to be. And it won't be used again for this purpose for about 30 years. I'll show you what's going on down here. Or maybe I should explain it a little bit in advance. This is going to the shore of a lake where they would have ferries shipping logging trucks to an island. Massive uninhabited island where they were taking down trees. They replanted everything, removed the ferries, removed all the docks, blocked off the access to the lake. They left the parking lot in case people want to go kayaking and stuff, which is nice. But that's what this road was used for. A logging operation on an island. To be honest, as far as videos go, I'm a perfectionist, and when I'm like editing things together, I always make sure pops and clicks between clips are always like fused together in a good way. I don't really like the noise my camera mount's making, all these clicking sounds, but I've replaced it a couple of times with different models. They all seem to be the same, so I gotta try to just not let it bother me. I've asked in the comment section before. Everyone else says it's just part of my videos. It doesn't bother them, so I'll just disregard the one person out of 100 that seems to have a problem with certain things. They put a lot of curves in this road. That was open a couple years ago for logging. I don't know why they blocked it off, but Maine has pretty good laws as far as these private properties, but I know in states like Oregon or Washington, when I went out there to try to explore, they gate and block everything, because if you get stuck or hurt doing something dumb off-road, those states have laws where you can actually go after the logging company, which is very screwed up in my opinion. Out here, if I get stuck or I slide off the road and destroy my vehicle, there's no one to blame but myself. So right here, this is the dock. This is the metal dock. They're just leaving it there. That'll probably be in such bad shape in 30 years, I probably need a new one. No, wait, I'm wrong actually. This is a dock for holding humans to get out to the ferry. What's on the other side here is the boat ramp where the truck would get down closer to the water where it's soft. And they have a ton of tires here. I've actually had the idea of coming to this exact spot and going camping inside of one of these tires, like when the weather's cold enough that the water that's definitely sitting inside them is frozen. We're gonna get out for a moment. Let me shut the truck off. In my opinion, it's a very good day to go hiking. Right around the freezing mark. What's this? Just someone's shirt. Nice little camping pit. Technically, in the state of Maine, you need a fire permit to make random fires, but I've never ran into a ranger that enforces or even cares, as long as you're not doing something dumb. Yeah, see how this is big enough to lay in there? I've thought about like tarping one of these up and actually sleeping here. They've actually got a cool structure here. They blocked it off so no one can try to back boats down here. But you see, there's a pretty good trail here. In the summertime, a lot of people come out here because this isn't super deep in the wilderness or anything. There's no signals, but pretty easy access. If you've been watching for any amount of time, I sometimes go places that are so far out, you got to bring a bunch of gas cans because you can't get out there properly. That's why my truck had a gas tank that's more than twice as big as the factory one put on, because I don't really need gas cans anymore with that new system. It used to be a pain in the butt with all the gas cans. Sometimes they tip over and spill, but wow, the ice may actually be strong enough to hold me here. Wow, far northern Maine still looks super cold. I'm gonna try walking on it. I'm not going out far. I'm just gonna step on the edge actually. Ooh, this is pretty soft. Yeah, I didn't think so. Remember, lakes, when they freeze, start from the edge out, and they also melt from the edge out. So out there is probably safer than here, but I'm not going to test it. Like, you see this crack right here? I think in the warmer weather it thawed out to there, and then from there on would be a little thicker. In northern Maine, the lakes are beautiful. Look at this. It's like the ocean. All the rocks and pebbles are so smooth. It's so beautiful. I don't know how deep it is here. I'm just want to test my theory right there. Yeah, this gets deep fast. Just want to. Yeah, that's not gonna hold me, but that is actually a lot thicker. Yeah, see, it's like the ocean. Everything is so smooth. This is shale, where it's really sharp, but yet it managed to completely smooth it out. This whole coast right here actually is totally different. I went swimming here a couple years ago. It was so gradual. Now it's just a sheer drop. Changed a bit. The wind coming off the lake is making me a little chilly. There's this beautiful camping spot here. It's nothing official about it, but it's nice. I camped here years ago. Random people show up to it. To be honest, most people come here by boat. Maine has hundreds of campsites that are only accessible by boat. They're intended for boat. You can get to them by bushwhacking. Not always easy, but definitely doable. You don't need reservations at them in most cases, but you always face the risk of there being somebody there, so always factor in time to be able to get to another site if that's the case. The lake actually seems a bit low, because I've been here in times where you can't walk to the coast. Like, I could walk this who knows how far. Quite beautiful. Somehow it got really reshaped over the winter. It's no longer gradual. But every lake in northern Maine, unless it's like a small pond, they're always crystal clear water with rocks that remind me of the ocean. Before we take off, let's get a look at what they've got here. That's probably tires from a big loader, or those I think are from a log skid. That's probably from a loader. This is maybe a loader or the steer of a dump truck. They got a bunch of tractor trailer tires here. Does anyone know what they might have been doing with the tires around these trees? To be honest, this here, I've always thought about camping in weird spots like that. It's completely dry in there. I wonder if my one-person tent is low profile enough to fit in there. That's about waist high. That's pretty cool. Okay, you drive around a little bit more. Now we're gonna go down the road that I wanted to go down originally. Oh, we're exactly at the freezing mark now. I remember there was one time I came out here, I was afraid to go down that steep hill, so I just parked there at the top and walked down. It was very icy one year. Ooh, a little slippery here around these corners. This road's feeling more slippery on the way out for some reason. Gotta watch it around these turns. Wow, you are shaking like crazy now. Anything about that. I've replaced that camera mount multiple times and they all seem to do that. I wish they'd make one with multiple suction cups that hold it completely still, but I can't find anything like that. You know what? I'm gonna finally do it. I think when I get home, I'm gonna take like Gorilla Glue and I'm just gonna secure a regular tripod right to the dashboard. I don't ever intend on selling this truck, so I don't care what anyone might think about it. I think I'm gonna probably do that when I get home, because this just personally, I hate hearing that myself. Okay, here's that bad culvert around this corner. I remember not to hit this one. Maybe in like a month we'll be able to take the Bear Road. That's that cut through that's flooded. Even though it's flooded, they built the road awesome. It's so solid, even years underwater. Still feeling slippage here. Now it's raining, the snow stopped. Temperatures now above freezing again. We're borderline, so the weather can do basically whatever it wants right now. We just had an ice storm last week. It wasn't severe enough to pull down trees, but it looked very pretty. Did I somehow push water out of this road on my way in? Because this is not feeling great. Or maybe it's because we're going all downhill. New dash camera that I got in here pretty recently. It's a lot better than the factory one, because the factory one just refuses to connect with its app. This one connects with its app, but I'm going to run it through a offline device because it seems to block signals when it's occupying a Wi-Fi frequency. And I'm not exactly sure how it works. I'm hoping it has the button where it saves the past minute and it won't rewrite that clip, but I can't figure out how by reading the manual. It was advertised that way online, but it doesn't seem to actually do that as far as I can see, and there's no videos made by anybody that really explain it. Okay, here we go back to the snowy spot, so we're almost out of this road. I thought I was going to slide, but I didn't. I kind of enjoy these type of roads. The challenge, I feel like it makes people a better driver. Because as I do these kind of things more and more, I get stuck less and less as I learn what to look out for. Boom, boom. trees are starting to turn red. They want to start growing leaves, which is nice. Now this road historically has a lot of problems, but every year maintenance seems to get better and better. I'm loosening the suction cup and trying to, I don't think that did anything. So this road historically used to have a lot of problems, but the way things are going this year, I don't think we're gonna find any spring thaw uncloggings. We did such preventative maintenance last year that the only thing really that would cause these blockages is spring floods. And this is the first year of my life I have ever seen no spring floods. Nothing. And some people don't realize how much effort goes into these videos. I have probably driven 8,000 miles in the month of March in search of this stuff and found literally nothing. And because of the driving that people don't realize these videos take, I'd say each unclogging video probably personally cost $500 to produce, and people don't seem to understand why. It's because of all this downtime. Typically there'd be blockages, we'd find multiple a day, but this entire season we've found literally nothing. I think as I continue to make videos like this, it's bringing more and more awareness to these logging companies. The logging companies are happy that I'm doing it, but it's also showing them where all these issues seem to be. And constantly reporting issues that seem to be problems actually negatively impacts how many you can find in the future. But by not being crooked is actually slowly making it very difficult to find these things. Because I could be crooked and unclog certain things, not tell these companies that they've got an issue. It would benefit me, but then somebody could get hurt on these things if I'm not reporting these hazards that people might not be noticing or overlooking. It all depends who is hired to actually maintain these roads, whether they actually care or if they're only looking for things that matter now and don't matter months or a year down the road. Like when I'm inspecting pipes, I'm looking at things that could cause a problem down the road. I'm not looking at what is a problem right now. I'm looking at things that are down the road. So if I find a problem, like if I get out and look at a pipe, it's the only way I'm going to find it. Sometimes I get out to look at a pipe, even if it's not clogged. If I look at it for whatever reason and find there's holes inside the pipe, or if I find evidence that the river is digging under the pipe, that's not apparent from overhead, and that might not cause a problem for years. But I'm absolutely going to put ribbons up to tell people that, hey, a sinkhole could form here. So some people in my comment section have even got mad at me. I can't believe it. People will get mad if they see me remove a small blockage, and they'll be like, how come you don't wait for this blockage to get massive to create a better video? Well, that's the reason right there. I will make a whole bunch of boring videos, those people call, but I don't care. I don't clickbait people. If you don't see the word unclogging, it's your own fault for clicking on a video of doing road inspections. And that's basically what this is. We're looking for potential hazards. There's certain things that will make me get out of the vehicle, but everything you're seeing today, like pipes where I have to slow down to run over these dips, the pipe is collapsed, but anyone driving this is going to notice that, including the road crew that has to fix that. I typically only mark things that are bad enough to prevent you from going through it. Things that are bad enough to break an axle or a ball joint. Those are the type of things I'll get out and start marking. But on a road like this, when it's so abundant, we're only going to get out and mark extremely hazardous things, which I haven't come across yet. If I see a culvert that has like a sharp edge in the middle of the road where somebody might not see it, We're gonna put up some ribbons. We'll find a rock or a stick, tie a ribbon around it, and jab it in the ground wherever that sharp thing is. But I'm not gonna just purposely cause problems out here. I'm above doing stuff like that. But I'll absolutely keep things on my radar and keep coming out to normal issues. I still inspect pipes. Whoa! We're not stuck, I don't think. Back up carefully. This is one of those quicksand holes. Come on, no. We might have to winch out in that pine tree. Oh my gosh. Damn it. Come on. If I wanted to go to that tree, I'd have to get some tow straps to add to my winch line. The base of this small tree will be enough. The ground is still pretty frozen. So this is active groundwater and a drainage issue. This side of the road is solid. Got to remember that on our way back. So clearly when somebody else drove here, it was a while back, despite how it may look. They didn't sink at all. So I got to get back in, hit the gas gently while using our winch. Okay, I'm not the most awake person right now, but I should go back out. I want to tension it before we hit the gas. We're at such an angle, the door can't even stay open. All right, I got tension on it, so I'm gonna help with the gas. Drive in. Come on, start helping this winch. Okay, it's pulling us. Oh, we're digging. Let the winch do its job. Let the winch do its job. Come on. This is a bad one. I gotta get out and make sure the winch isn't binding up. We're gonna have to drive fast on the way out of here. We are out. Now I gotta go fix the winch, and on the way back we gotta go fast through this. The winch is a precious investment because right now we don't have no signal. I would be waiting around. One time I got stuck with my old car. I was waiting 19 hours. I could not shut the car off because if I shut it off, the mud would have got in the muffler and you wouldn't have started it again. No, I gotta be very, very careful now driving past these mud holes. I heard a weird bang. I think the skid plate when I was dragging it out hit a rock. Hopefully it wasn't, what do you call it? I thought it was breaking something. I don't think it did. Oh no. Oh no, this stupid road's getting soft. And I don't want to get stuck in it going full speed, dive the nose of the truck into this. And I think we're gonna actually turn around and give up on this one at the moment. because there's not actually any spots down here that I think there's going to be problems. And you saw what's there, that's mostly because of mud season. Once the ground is thawed, it will go away. There's like a couple feet of muck that is trapped because it can't drain. We're gonna turn right around at this intersection. This has been a clog in the past, but you can clearly see there's no water here. Everything's making it under the culvert where the blue ribbon is absolutely perfectly. So yeah, you see somebody else came down here, but it was obviously like a week ago when the road wasn't as soft. But we're gonna turn around and we have to keep far to the right. Stay away from that hole. I can't believe how far down I was bellied down. I was on the skid plates. There was no getting out of that without the winch. And it's amazing what a synthetic rope will do. It's so thin, but it's got the capabilities of a metal cable. It's so nice. And if it ever snapped, it's not gonna smash into stuff like a metal cable. It's designed to not flick back at all, which is awesome. It was worth the investment. The winch didn't even cost that much. The whole front of the truck is redone in case I hit a deer. It's a metal bumper. It's a pain in the butt. I gotta keep painting it every year because winter takes a toll. There's rust all over the winch and stuff. I think this year I'm gonna try oil undercoating. I do not think I'm gonna keep painting because it's so time consuming. I think I'm just gonna oil everything. All right, stay away from that other side of the road. Oh, be careful here too. This is soft. Whoop, whoop. So should I go fast or should I try to go to the right? I'm worried it's gonna get soft if I go too far to the right, but then again, there's no water there. Okay, we're gonna go a bit of speed. Bit of speed. Yeah, we made it. And we didn't see anything else on the way out here, so I think we got clearance all the way back to the main artery. That being said, this in the summertime will be a maintained main artery, but the drainage ditch is supposed to be in here. It's so filled in over the years. Maybe I can see logging activities went on here maybe 5 years back or something. It also looks very wet and grasslandish. There could have been a slight mudslide, but look at this. The tires on my truck, so I believe I got 17-inch rims, but they're super fat, beefy tires, and we were bottomed down. Look at the crack. Look at the road just opened up. It's like look at that. Look at it, the whole ground here jiggling. It's like quicksand. The aggressive tires didn't help at all, but a winch is amazing. Even a teeny little tree has enough strength to pull out a vehicle, as long as you secure to the bottom of it. I've winched out with trees 2 inches. They have strength that you wouldn't believe. Well, maple trees do. I wouldn't trust a pine. They're pretty soft. Having a winch will give you a peace of mind. I used to, once I got stuck for that 19 hours I mentioned, I used to bring out a come along. But as you can see here, I had to winch probably a good 10 feet while hitting the gas. With a come along, you can't really do that unless you have a second person. Okay, here's a metal pipe that got lifted out of the ground by a frost heave, but it is intact. The frost heave didn't crush it. My pants are a little muddy and my hands are muddy. I'll stop somewhere and just rinse off my knees on the pants. It'll dry by the time I go to sleep tonight. Because you gotta get down on your knees and look inside of where the winch is spooling up to make sure it's evenly spooling so it doesn't bind up. That's why I got out halfway into pulling, but it wasn't binding. It was doing okay. And when I'm letting the cable wind back up, I have it going through my hand, and I'm just letting my hand pull all the mud off it so that doesn't wind up in there with it, because that's not good. But I think I'm going to oil my metal bumpers. I don't think I'm going to bother painting them anymore, even though painting looks better. The road salt just goes crazy on it. I think this year I'm going to oil undercoat, which a lot of people have been advising me to do. I think I'm done with painting. The good thing about oil undercoating is anytime the paint gets chipped or every time you bottom out, some of the oil will come out and just bleed back into those spots. Yeah, it only takes maybe a day or two of the year to completely repaint the undercarriage, but there's things I'm not getting to, and I know that. I know I'm unable to get inside of the frame. It shouldn't be a big deal on a newer vehicle because it's not being chipped away by pebbles and dirt roads, but over time it would probably get bad, and there's spots like on top of the fuel tanks I'm just unable to get to, so yeah. So we were unable to go around this loop. I'm not going to take that chance. I probably could have, but I maybe would have got stuck again, and I know these roads good enough that there's really no gain of going down this road. It can wait until later in the year. There's typically not any problems, but we're going to take that other road once we go through the hairpin again. Tonight we're supposed to get like 3 inches of snow, so things like that will be considerably more dangerous in the morning because it'll cover up spots and you won't even be able to tell like that. I didn't even see that as a hazard because the surface of the road looked exactly like it does now, but the water next to it was obviously, it compromised it. Yeah, my tires and rims, they're not even the same color now. But I was out here a couple weeks ago in another vlog video, and I was mentioning I was out here too early. I think I'm still out here a little too early for this stuff, but I thought I'd give it another try. We'll stay out here for another day or two, and if not, we'll come back another time. This is not really a flooding mud season this year. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the footage, but that big crack you saw on the road that I opened up back there, was that crack existing before I made it wider? Because that crack would have been there because of a frost heave. That means water under the road is expanding, and that's what made it crack. That's what I'm thinking. So this time of year we gotta watch out if we see any cracks in the road like that, and I know we've seen some on the way out here, but there wasn't any concerning spots. So I think we got clearance all the way out of here, no big deal. moose tracks. Slow down. Oop, oop. It feels icier than on the way in for some reason. It'll be dark in about an hour. Watch it on this hill. I don't think it's icy, but we gotta slow it down. Ooh, sliding. Safety. Now it's sleeting, no more rain. We're now back exactly the freezing mark. So you see what a nightmare things like that can become if you don't have a winch. If I was stuck there overnight, there's a good chance the mud will freeze, then you're trapped for who knows how long. I don't think that's the worst I've ever got stuck. I've got stuck with all four wheels down. That winch wasn't even sounding struggling, and I've had incidents where it's just, you could hear it. It was struggling. Not that time, pretty good. Slippage here. Gonna slow it down, especially where the drainage ditch is big enough to get stuck in. Mile 4, about 1 mile to the hairpin. So you see right there, that is the reason why if you live up north, you will see every spring weight limit signs, even under paved roads, because super heavy trucks could punch through into those mud holes beneath the road, even if they're not apparent. And that's why a lot of roads this time of year are also gated, because they don't want people getting stuck and having to continuously rescue people. Now you see this road, how there's holes everywhere, there's sunken spots everywhere. They have to fix the road regardless. That's not the reason that they gate a lot of them. They just don't want people getting stuck, especially in the super, super remote areas. But oftentimes the super remote areas are the ones that don't have gates, because typically you won't find people who aren't prepared even making it out that far. Alright, I think that big hill is coming up. Maybe. I know this area pretty well. I probably know this area of logging woods better than anywhere else I go, because I've been traveling these roads since I was like 5. And when I was like 10, I used to ride a bicycle on these roads here, alone all the time. So I've been just about up and down every single one of these. I remember as a 10-year-old, every time I heard a log truck in the distance, I'd grab the bicycle and I'd run deep into the woods, because in the summertime there'd be a storm of dust. You'd be so filthy, and it's even hard to breathe if a log truck drives by you in those conditions. So you'd have to go and hide in the woods. And I think on my channel a few years more than a few years, but when I was like 14, when I first started the channel, there's a couple of videos I was showing of logging trucks, and this is the exact road those came from. Nice. This is the road the logging employees love drifting around that corner when it's dry in the summer. Worst fears is either the snow or the mud just grabbing half of the vehicle and swerving you. Alright, here's the road. We're going to take a left. Alright, this road should be okay. Maybe. If we can make it to, there's a fork in the road coming up. If we make it there, I'd say we're good. Before there, this is actually the most likely place to be sinking. You see how the road looks snow covered? That doesn't mean anything. You could find mud, so we got to use extreme caution if we see water sitting like right here. Oh wow, that's a good bit of erosion. That's a black culvert pipe from way back there. I thought that was water sitting. That's nothing to be concerned about. So the reason that happened is the pipe's undersized. It couldn't handle the water coming down next to us. Same thing right here. See this erosion? The ditch isn't dug deep enough to handle what was going on. Yep, same here. There's another culvert pipe. Oh, that one isn't even operable. The whole entrance of the pipe is like down inside the mud. I don't even know how that happened. Unless someone pulled onto it. Now this part of the road used to be notorious for mud. Not really seeing it right now. It's built pretty high up. Oh, see the crack in the road? There's something going on under there with water. Freezing and expanding. Now here, we gotta be careful because we don't really have trees to winch off of. Okay, we got mud. I knew there was gonna be mud on this section. I don't think it's severe. We got a couple of trees around us. It's okay. Ooh, ooh. Do not want to slide into that ditch. I don't know if I'd be able to get out of that. That would put a lot of strain on the winch. Okay. Icy part of the road. And see how high up we are? That means less water issues, but I don't think we're getting out of that ditch. If we fall into that, we could even flip. That's a pretty deep one. I think this is the fork I was saying, which is typically the safe spot. The road should get better. And I mean should because they've been doing logging here, which could have interfered with the road. They've been resurfacing it with I don't know what. So to the left is always a fun road, but I'm not going to take that today because I'm afraid of it being extremely muddy. Although, wait, they plowed it and they completely remodeled the road. They even lifted it up, it seems. Wow, I do see mud down there. I'm tempted. I'm a bit tempted to go down here. They fixed a good amount. Did they fix the water issues though? Look how muddy this is right here. Is this frozen? If I got out on foot, I would not be able to tell because the top is clearly frozen, but is it frozen enough to hold us? It appears so. Give it some gas. I don't want to slow it down over some of this. Yeah, this was so narrow back in the fall that you'd scrape against the edges, and they did not replace the culvert pipes because this was probably winter logging. It was frozen. They didn't really care. I don't know if they're going to keep using this into the summer months. But roads that are notorious for being bad, they maintain them just for winter travel when it's frozen and there's no mud. Yeah, they did a pretty good job on this one. But I'm still concerned about what we could find up here. I also need to get a piece of electrical tape out of my toolbox later when I park for the night, because the dust cover for that joystick I have to plug in under the hood isn't feeling very tight. I don't need to get mud in those terminals because then I can't use the winch. It took me an embarrassing 5 minutes to be able to figure out where the plug was because I haven't winched out in about a year. The road here is feeling pretty rocky, so I don't think we're going to come across something here, but I've been down this road to know there are some very questionable spots that we will encounter if we keep going. They definitely added some gravel. They did something. This was questionable before. They didn't replace any of the culverts. They're all messed up still. Right here, I don't like the spot where the snow's not sticking. There's moving water under the mud. Frost heaves here. What do we got there? Is that snow or water crossing up there? Snow. Now, this does not look good at all, but it's frozen, thankfully. So coming up, we'll have another option area. We can return back to where that other direction goes, or this will eventually go back to that road I turned around on. Whoa, whoa, whoa! If I would have stopped, I would have got stuck. You saw where the road wasn't, there was no snow sticking to it. It was warm because there's water under it. I'm actually gonna, I want to back up and show everyone. I want to get out and look at that. I see it. We're gonna get out and take a look at what I almost just got stuck in and use severe caution if we do end up coming back this way. That was abrupt. It just gave. It felt like I possibly slightly bottomed out, but I don't see evidence of it. It doesn't look like much. It filled in. Oh, I definitely bottomed out something on there. See that? Yeah, I bottomed out, so that doesn't look deep. And I got over a foot of clearance and I still hit the ground. I could have easily got stuck right here. Maybe. I did get traction here and there in the opposite corners, which is weird, but you see how the road's discolored? I'm actually going to take a picture of this and use this as an example in my community tab of the hazards of these roads. Today is being eventful. And the dusting of snow is actually seemingly going to help us out today. If we see any areas where the snow isn't sticking, it means something's going on. It's like a hidden quicksand pit. The more you try to move around, the deeper you're going to get stuck in it. This is a steep one. And that being said, we could still run into something even if it's not looking like that. But you do learn something every time you get stuck. You learn to be a little more cautious. Like, look at this. You see these areas? Careful, careful, careful. Careful, careful. Another one. Careful. Go kind of fast. Alright, that was not that bad. In case we have to come back. And I don't want to come back through that back there. I'm gonna try to see this road out. We'll try. Everything looks frozen here, so we don't have to go quite as fast. That was soft. You saw that where it was light, where it was dark colored. There's another dark colored area, a little bit. Right here, a little bit too. You can tell where there's groundwater activity. Oh, right there. It's a scary road. We'll know in about an hour if this was a mistake or not. At least there's plenty of trees to pull myself out. And those mud holes back there, if I do get stuck in them. Oh, wait, this is light colored. Keep speed, keep speed. All right, not that bad. This is light colored too. See, nothing sticking to this. Actually, we're low enough in elevation now. The snow didn't stick anywhere, basically. So our early warning system is now gone. Well, I can actually see some contrast between wet and dry ground. A little bit. Camera, you gotta stop rattling. You seem to be getting worse through this ride. Oh well. There's a little bit. This doesn't look good here around this corner. This is the way up here. Boom! I didn't even see that hole. Yep, they did logging here over the winter. This is all fresh. There's another one. Wow, that culvert is sunk a lot, but it's a bigger pipe, so it's not as abrupt. 100% when I get home. I'm super gluing a actual tripod to the dashboard. I'm fed up with this. Couple of frost heaves here. This is not culvert pipes that's making the road messed up. Is potentially bad. See how wet it is? And there's a culvert pipe. Plastic and crushed. starting to get dark fast. Oh, oh, oh. I thought that was a mud hole. It wasn't. That was a rock that got shoved up and is now receding into the mud. Frost heaves. Ooh. Nope, that was 2 culverts. Conditions could get worse because now it's starting to rain, despite it being at the freezing mark exactly. This road's super duper bumpy now. No more smoothness like at the beginning. This is not good. Keep speed, keep speed. I could see that on the edge. That's like what I got stuck in. Right here again. Ooh, stay away from that. Keep speed, keep speed. I could see it. It literally looked like the road was slipping into the ditch. Okay, we're about to hit a junction. I gotta make up my mind. If I go left, it's gonna bring us to the road we got stuck on. If I go right, it's gonna bring us back to the cut-through road. Which way do I want to go? They're maintaining this as a loop so the trucks can go one way. I'm gonna go this way here onto the unmaintained spot because I've never had an issue with this section of road. And we're gonna get back on track to the road that we turned around on. Then we could maybe continue further on it unless we see something. Unless I see a major red flag, I can keep going a bit. Yeah, that should stop the jiggling a little bit. Nice, peace and quiet. Instead of a can, let's try a bottle that won't make that noise. What do we got here? Culvert. Up here is a potentially bad area. You see the type of trees that are growing close to the road? Those are willow trees, and they require a lot of water to stay alive. So we gotta keep moving at a good pace. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thankfully that was frozen. I could see a nightmare ready to start right there. Oh my gosh, it's happening again. Keep speed, keep speed. Because there's no trees around there. Just little twigs. That's scary, that part of the road. Okay, we can ease up a little bit. We should be almost back to that main artery I got stuck on. Oh, 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 we're slipping. Or the right side of the vehicle tried to sink. Oh. Did anyone see that sinkhole right there trying to open up? I tried to go around as much as I could. little bit nervous here, but I know we're getting close to the main artery again. Yeah, I'm sinking here and there. Whoop, whoop. Oh wow, this is slippery now. Nice, the safety of some gravel. Okay. Notice the willow trees. Oh man. I know there's snow, but you have to think about why are there patches of snow missing? We're getting out. We got to inspect. So right here is obviously groundwater going on. You can see, feels slightly soft, but at least it's pretty rocky. The rocks are giving me confidence that I won't get stuck, but see the willow trees that are all along the road? It means there's a water problem. And if we do get stuck here, the base of these willow trees, I could probably wrap around multiple ones at the same time and get out. But you notice there's not really much around for us to winch off of. I think we're okay. Let's try not to get stuck. I do think I could wrap around multiple of these trees if I had to. Keep speed. Just because I see rocks, we don't know what's a few inches beyond those, if it's just mud or whatnot. The other tire tracks mean nothing, because that was like a week ago and I'm slipping. This mud is just as slippery as ice. Very wet, and you could tell it's frozen slightly under the surface, which is helping me right now not sink, but just 50 feet down the road, it keeps changing. Like we're getting snow covered. There was mud risks back there 5 minutes ago, less than 5 minutes back. Gotta go through that kind of hard because I can't tell if the bottom of that is solid or not. This part of the road looks bad. I can feel myself on the left sinking. Okay, pretty good. This looks better. Boom. Right here, water's been crossing. Use extreme caution going through that. It's rocky, thankfully. Okay. The right tried to pull me a little bit. This road's very unstable today. Ooh, did you see that? I think that was a shrew that just ran across the road. It was smaller than a mouse and it was dark black. It's just a little speck on the screen going by. The video there to remind myself to zoom into that and slow it down a little bit later on. I see lots of rocks in the roads. That's giving me a little confidence that they used really good fill. But the willow trees mean there's water around here all the time. Ooh. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Sign, are we finally making it out? Yep, I think this is it. Is it? Yes, it is. We're back to the main artery. So, if I turn left, that's where we got stuck. I do believe we may have been able to continue through, but I didn't want to take that risk. I feel good about where we are right now. Look at a crack in the road. There's something going on under there. This road up here to the left is a very, very bad road. I am nervous taking that even in the summertime. definitely not going down there today. Almost guaranteed to get stuck. See that? There was a little sinkhole there too from a receding rock. These things come out of nowhere. They blend in so well. It's that time of day the moose might want to come out now that it's getting dusk. They love it when it starts getting warm. It hasn't done that quite yet. I mean, when it starts getting really warm in the spring, you see them everywhere. Oh, this is bad. Okay, just the surface is thawed. It's still solid. That's gonna be a bad spot in the coming weeks. Here we're feeling a little bit of slippage, but it's okay. It's just the surface right now. Gotta watch it here. I think I'll end the video here because we're about to get back to a winter main artery where we definitely aren't going to get stuck. Well, I guess I shouldn't call it winter main artery because some of these they only use in the winter, but I should just say it's a much better maintained road, and we'll end the video here. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. All those logs.